Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog. So I wasn't going to talk about this topic, but it's breaking news today, so I just thought I would. NBA content's getting kind of slow. It's getting to a point now where I can cover stories like this and maybe, may not upload videos daily, but, when stuff like this breaks, it gives me an opportunity to make some content now that the Pacers are no longer doing anything until after the NBA Finals. But I want to talk about this story because I think it's very, very important. I think it's something that the cat's kind of out of the bag here when it pertains to the Los Angeles Lakers. So, in case you guys don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers have been looking for a new head coach ever since they fired Darvin Ham. And one of the guys, one of the guys that was a guy that was on their radar was JJ Redick. And rumors were that JJ Redick was basically a lock for the job. A lot of people were saying like they'd be very surprised if he wasn't the head coach. Rumors were he was calling around the NBA looking for assistant coaches, trying to put a staff together, stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, Adrian Wojnarowski dropped this bombshell on Twitter that the Lakers were looking to pursue Dan Hurley, if I said that correctly, out of UConn. Dan Hurley. The Lakers were pursuing Dan Hurley, who is the head coach of the UConn Huskies. He's a back-to-back national championship winner, head coach for the UConn Huskies. He's won pretty much everywhere he's went. I mean, I think he also won when he was at Rhode Island also. The guy is a great coach. He has a great offense. He's been able to put together two really good teams 2 years in a row now. And the Los Angeles Lakers seem to be like really all in on Dan Hurley. It was Dan Hurley and JJ Redick. And Dan Hurley said that, it was like over the weekend that this kind of broke, and they were like, listen, by Monday, Dan Hurley plans to give us an answer. Well, he gave us the answer today, and he basically told the Lakers to take a hike. I'm staying with the UConn Huskies. And, ever since 2020, the Lakers have really rubbed me the wrong way. And I think they rubbed everyone else the wrong way. And I don't even necessarily know if it's the Lakers' fault. I think it's more so LeBron James' fault. And the reason I say that is because, in 2020, the Lakers just came off of winning an NBA championship. Regardless of what you think of it, the Lakers won an NBA championship that year. Frank Vogel was their head coach. Anthony Davis played out of his mind in the playoffs. And Russell Westbrook, what happened was Russell Westbrook became available, and that's when this whole thing just really started going downhill. They decided to make a trade for Russell Westbrook, which ended up giving up most of their really good bench players, or at least some of their really good core players. They gave up Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, and the number 22 pick in the NBA draft for Russell Westbrook. And it's just like that was a lot to give up for Russell Westbrook, and it simply never worked out. That was a trade that just, by all means, was one of probably the worst trades of LeBron James's career. And that's the problem with the Lakers. I'm going to call it what it is. Like, that's the problem with the Lakers, and I think that's a big reason why a lot of head coaches don't want to go there. I understand JJ Redick is a candidate for this job, mostly because I think LeBron James likes him, and I think LeBron James wants him there. But the problem is with the Lakers is listening to LeBron James has done absolutely nothing for them since 2020. Like, we're working on year 4 now of doing what the fuck LeBron James wants, and it's simply just flat out not working. It hasn't worked in 4 years. And I think, the word's getting out around the NBA that it's like, listen, if you coach the Lakers, okay, you are pretty much just, a position holder. Like, the front office is always going to do what LeBron James wants to do. Even if Bronny James is a player that is not an NBA prospect, if LeBron James wants the Lakers to draft him, the Lakers are going to draft him to keep LeBron James happy. And while I understand why they do that, okay, this is a team that had a championship roster with what they had. They had LeBron, they had AD, KCP still to this day is a good player. Kyle Kuzma got to go to the Wizards and do his own thing. Montrezl Harrell's a guy that I think he got injured and is out of the league now because he had he went to the 76ers and then something after he left the Lakers, it was just pretty much it was over. And they got the number 22 overall. They traded away the number 22 overall pick. But my issue with this whole thing is that when you go to the Lakers and you play for any LeBron James led team, it's never going to be LeBron's fault. Okay, it's always going to be the head coach's fault. And to be fair, even when they hired Darvin Ham was the guy that LeBron wanted. It always amazes me how the coaches are the scapegoats for these things, and it's never the GM or it's never, the player that advocated for that coach. When Giannis advocated for, I think, Adrian Griffin, if I said that correctly, to be the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, nobody criticized Giannis. You know what I'm saying? And Giannis was the guy that wanted him, even though Mike Budenholzer should have never lost his job in the first place. It sucks that in the NBA, it seems like head coaches are always the scapegoat, and it's never the GM's fault for putting a dog shit roster together. Like what happened to Frank Vogel once again in Phoenix. Their record was 49-33. Don't quote me on it, but they had a winning record. They were almost a 50-win team. And the Phoenix Suns put together a team with 3 really expensive star players and then put, a bunch of fucking, has-beens or what-ifs around it and hoped that it would work. And once again, Frank Vogel got scapegoated for it. And one thing that Frank Vogel has always shown is the idea that if you give him a talented roster or some guys that will just buy into his system, he can coach a really a damn good basketball team. But the thing is, with Dan Hurley turning down the Lakers, it means Dan Hurley doesn't want to be a part of the shit show that is the Los Angeles Lakers at this point. I think he realizes at this point, and as do most NBA fans, and I think most NBA head coaches, that if you play for any LeBron James-led team, if their team fails for whatever reason, even with all the strings being pulled by LeBron James and the front office behind the scenes, if you're the head coach, you are going to be the scapegoat. And yes, there have been coaches in the past that haven't worked out. I'm just going to call it what it is. There have been head coaches in the past that LeBron James has had that simply weren't, great head coaches. David Blatt, for example. But it's just the idea. The Lakers are a team that has so much going on, and just head coaches in general don't want to play there or coach there if they're a coach with any experience. That's why I think JJ Redick is a guy that's such a lock for this job, is because there have been rumors that JJ Redick wants to coach in the NBA. There are rumors out there that JJ Redick at least wants to find a way to get his foot in the door in some way, shape, or form, and to coach the Lakers, okay, it would be his ability, that would give him the ability to do that, which is why I think at this point in time, it's definitely going to be JJ Redick. I don't know what's going to happen to JJ Redick's podcast, because he's going to be coaching the Lakers and maybe trying to do a podcast at the same time. I just don't see how that's going to work. But the thing is, JJ Redick's a young guy that I think knows what he's doing, and even if he gets scapegoated by the Lakers, at least he has a chance to show the rest of the league what he's capable of and all this other stuff. Could he put a good staff together, all this other stuff. It would be cool, really cool to see if Mark Jackson would get an opportunity to be on JJ Redick's staff, because I think Mark Jackson's a guy that just simply doesn't get the credit he deserves. Am I saying that? Hold on, Mark Jack. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, Mark Jackson. Okay. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here with all the head coaches that I'm naming off and shit. But it's just the idea, that would be cool. You know what I'm saying? That Mark Jackson gets another attempt, because I think Mark Jackson's a guy who deserves another attempt that simply just isn't getting it. But JJ Redick's going to get his opportunity, I think. Now that Dan Hurley turned it down, I think JJ Redick is without question 100% going to be that next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's only because JJ Redick, I think, wants to get his foot in the door. Any of these experienced head coaches, your Frank Vogels, your Mike Budenholzers, who is now the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, your maybe Mark Jackson will be an assistant, but maybe not be the main head coach of the Lakers. It's just the idea. This gives JJ Redick a chance to get his foot in the door, and once people see what he's capable of, I'm sure if he gets scapegoated on the Lakers, somebody else will hire him. He's not when it comes to basketball, his basketball mind is great. He understands a lot about the game of basketball, and it's gonna suck because if the Lakers are another borderline play-in team or don't make the playoffs, JJ Redick's gonna get scapegoated. But that's the same reason Dan Hurley did not take the job. Not for nothing. Also, Dan Hurley's been making a couple $1 million a year being the UConn Huskies head coach, and he's going for a three-peat, one of the first coaches, or I think he's going to be, only the second coach in NCAA history to do that. I think I don't kill me if I get this wrong, but I think John Wooden was the last one in his UCLA teams in the 1960s to three-peat, and I don't think anybody's done it since. If Dan Hurley could three-peat, it would put him in, as one of, I think, only 2 coaches to ever do that. So I think he likes that. I think he lives fairly comfortably making like a couple $1 million a year as the UConn Huskies head coach, and he has the ability to make history doing that, whereas if he goes to the Lakers, he's just gonna be the fucking scapegoat for when LeBron doesn't make the NBA Finals or the playoffs again. So I don't know, man. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm pretty positive at this point it's going to be JJ Redick. I'm pretty positive JJ Redick is going to be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, which kind of sucks because I like seeing JJ Redick's podcast, and I kind of feel like that's probably going to change. I'm sure he'll give us an update video or about what's going to happen with Old Man in the Three with JJ Redick's podcast and what's going to happen now that he's the head coach of the Lakers. I'm sure he might still find a way to do the podcast, but I just don't think it'll be as frequent as it currently is. Maybe it'll be less frequent. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how he plans to do it, but I'm assuming that his podcast is going to start winding down a little bit now that he's going to be the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more on the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.